Welcome back, everyone. I hope you guys are having a great day. With that said, I have some creepy stories for you guys to listen to. And as always, if you guys do enjoy, please leave a like, comment, or subscribe. And remember to turn on that notification bell. If you're subscribed, you'll be able to be notified if and whenever I post a new video. With that said, enjoy. It was just another boring Saturday night scrolling mindlessly through Facebook when I decided to do a random self-Google, just a silly impulse while vegging on the couch. Typing my name to the search bar, the usual links popped up. Abandoned Instagram. I never post on it anymore. It was from community theater, show buildings from a super cringy production of Chicago in college. But one familiar search result halfway down the page made me pause. Meredith Parker. I clicked the link and inhaled sharply, staring back from a small pixelated profile picture. Was a one who looked exactly like me. Same long brown hair with loose waves, dark red hipster glasses perched on a nose sprinkled with faint freckles. Behind that mini doppelganger were several albums with names like Girls Beach Trip and Danielle's Graduation. The employment section listed her as my grad school and everything. Okay, this was officially weirding me out to the max. I stared slack-jawed at Nimmy Marth Parker's profile, the cursor hovering over the add friend button, hesitantly. This has to be some bizarre coincidence, right? What if she was literally pretending to be me, an identity thief, harvesting my photos and personal information over time? I had zero clue. This person was smiling back innocently, like we were old pals. Everything seemed safely private, and she had no public posts. I could farther stalk curiosity. Went out, and before my courage failed, I quickly sent out a friend request. Bouncing my light tensely on the couch, I hit refresh, obsessively until a new notification popped up. Minutes later, Meredith Parker has accepted your friend request. We were now officially friends on Facebook. My skin prickled strangely at the sight of Minnie's name in my connections list. I clicked over to her profile again, before I lost nerve, determined to unravel the mystery of my bizarre doppelganger. Scrolling the sparse timeline, more uncanny similarities emerged. Mundane statuses, updates about beloved college professors I had also gushed over back in the obscure indie rock bands and podcasts I followed too. Even simple weekend posts chronicled activities exactly aligning with mine. Volunteering at the food pantry downtown, joining a casual women's soccer league. Seriously, what were the odds? I nervously laughed. Reacted at a status where she complained about her terrible bowling average and wanting to improve her score. Almost instantly a notification popped up, showing I had a new message from Meredith Parker herself. Right. Maybe this will be the year we both break 100. Something tells me I have a lot in common with Meredith. I fell back against the cushions, slack-jawed yet again. Okay, this was getting unnerving. Was I being intentionally screwed with gasted by a normal rando, somehow harvesting my photos and interests? If this wasn't the most elaborate punking ever, who even was this intimate stranger? Unable to resist getting farther down the rabbit hole, I kept looking at Parker's timeline, looking for the big gotcha revealing would end this spooky game, but everything mundane posts seemed lifted from my own average existence. Food pics at my favorite Thai place downtown, with a great Tawi that could be my cat's twin. The only obvious difference was this Meredith was married to some guy named Steve. I certainly never heard of, but otherwise per timeline, it looked like I could have written it myself. Morbidly fascinated but also nervous now, I finally worked up the courage to comment back. Leaning towards the screen intently, I awaited the response from the complete stranger who somehow knew me better than most flesh and blood friends in my actual life. The typing bubble appeared, then disappeared. Then finally, Steve actually bought me that sweater off Etsy last Christmas. I'll DM you the link It's fabulous, and yes, girl, get ready for me to stalk you big time. Feels like we were separated at birth. We meet up for a drink as soon as possible and swap stories. I sat immobilized in dismay, steeped in more questions than ever. This sounded like a perfectly nice normal woman aligned with me, somehow on a deeply cosmic level, but also clearly fixated on the intimate details of my mundane existence, enough to lift them as her own. What were her motives? Was I losing my mind? Was subject to an elaborate conspiracy fueled by secrets I didn't even know about myself? Unable to pull away from this virtual train wreck, I kept messaging Meredith Parker sporadically about our bizarre similarities over the next few weeks, comparing favorite bands, realizing we both hated eggplants, debating our shared obsession with true crime novels. Every microscopic preference we aligned on made my skepticism grow. It was like discovering a stranger had been studying the tedious minutiae of my days for quite some time, fully committing my identity to memory. Finally, the whole chilling charade reached peak levels when I jokingly mentioned someday taking our moms on a dream beach trip if I ever got rich. Moretta enthusiastically replied. She had the exact same bucket list goal. Oh my god, yes, my mom would absolutely die if I took her to Cape Cod. It's been number 1 on her list forever. I froze with my Diet Coke, dripping forgotten down my chin. Cape Cod was my mom's lifelong dream vacation that I'd quietly been stashing away for over the years. 100% certainly, I have never written or uttered those words loud before, yet here they were, in glowing pixels on my screen. The stranger once again pulling variable facts from some intimate mental catalog of my existence. Who was she? In one panicked motion, I blocked creepy cool Meredith Parker before quickly scrubbing my entire Facebook presence. No more oversharing life updates or selfies for this single white female to keep casually harvesting myself. I reacted rashly, ending our warped relationship so abruptly, but I wasn't taking any risks. Either my run-in with digital doppelganger Marth still freaks me out, wondering who that smiling mirror image actually was, behind the screen cyberstalking, studying me for years, a dementia-hoping alternate reality twin and intuitive suburban mom randomly fixated on the trivial details of my average life. I suppose I'll truly never know if Meredith Parker was in soul sisters separated at birth, or calculating identity thief amused impersonating me so accurately from afar. But I realized then just how flimsy online privacy becomes once we eagerly surrender intimate personal fragments into the indifferent void. Be careful with details you share with the digital universe. You never know when some mysterious stranger will assemble those pieces into an almost perfect replica of your existence for their own inscrutable purposes. I was aimlessly scrolling Facebook one random Wednesday night when an unexpected friend recommendation popped up that instantly drained all warmth from my body. Rachel Littleton. Rachel was one of my absolute closest friends all through high school, who tragically passed away our senior year. I can still vividly picture every agonizing detail surrounding the morning we got pulled from first period calculus and told to report silently to the guidance counselor's office. The gray faces staring back as we walked numbly down those endless beige hallways. The stench of floor polish and stale textbooks, shafts of harsh fluorescent glinting of the ugly green lockers when they finally told us gently about the car AC accident. I collapsed hard onto industrial gray carpet, feeling something vital Rocher inside a primal release of ragged screams and heaving sobs echoed through that small room for hours. As we clung together, processing pure agony, losing Rachel, so unexpectedly, at only 17 years old, completely shattered my world. She was supposed to be helping me pick the perfect prom dress that weekend. Attending her funeral in a fog of anguish just days later became the single most excruciating ordeal I've ever faced. So how was Retta Littleton smiling radiantly up at me now, the ghost of Facebook past resurrected on my phone screen tonight? I clicked her name with trembling hands, half expecting glowing profile pic to vanish in proof of smoke. But instead, Rachel's page sprang up, looking exactly the same as I last saw it nearly 6 years ago. That lustrous photo surrounded by flowing honey blonde hair, as Rachel leaned into the camera, mid-laugh, green eyes glittering at some long-forgotten party. Scrolling hesitantly, I noted recent posts from old high school friends, warning lost moments together, on sad landmark anniversary dates. Another birthday without you, Rachel. Which heaven had cell service so I could still spam you with memes? Someone wrote under a blurry photo I vaguely recognized from senior year football games. My brows furrowed. Did they not realize Rachel had passed away? Everything seemed baffling. The activeness for someone gone for years. Heart pounding, I combed through her page, searching for clues and lyrics friends had dedicated to Rachel after first hearing the tragic news. There are sweet photos of our cheering squad, celebrating a final win together. Her random philosophical ramblings about the indie bands we obsessed over. It was like discovering a buried time capsule. Earth avalanching me under teenage memories, yet nothing indicated this was a memorial page, maintained in tribute as far as I could tell. Everyone interacting assumed present-day ghost Rachel could see and respond back, which was utterly impossible, right? I turned off my phone, hands shaking badly. What kind of weird glitch was this? Rerunning a deceased girl's Facebook, as if last 6 years of absence never occurred. This couldn't be real. Part of me wondered if I was losing my grip on reality altogether. I avoided Rachel's profile for weeks, unable to process such a surreal digital resurrection, but morbid curiosity eventually drew me back again. Late one night, sleepless night, I had to know where this insane rabbit hole led. Who was puppeteering my friend's account so actively, soaring every post I searched desperately for explanations about the bizarre online preservation. But it was also innocent, mundane memories friends posted on meaningful days over the years, never directly stating the obvious fact that Rachel had physically died, instead tagging her to suggest hypothetical real-world meetups. Bizarre and even eerier, a bunch of unfamiliar faces has come recently casually asking Ghost Rachel about hanging out again soon, almost like they thought she could see and respond beyond the grave. I spent hours messaging old high school friends, now scattered everywhere, asking if they could also still see access Rachel's account. Everyone who responded shared my horror and confusion. A few callous weirdos even suggested I was orchestrating some elaborate prank, pretending our friend had never died at all, which stunned deeply considering I still wore the friendship bracelet Rachel gave to me during her wrenching funeral. Clearly we all mourned losing her. Together, yeah. Here was Rachel's Facebook, somehow enduring an interactive monument, frozen cheerfully in time by ghosts of the past. But it seemed invasive, allowing a glitchy algorithm to puppeteer her page. This way forever, no amount of loving tags and memories could ever resurrect the actual Rachel. Now that cold reality haunted me as I watched posts pile up on her wall. Over days and weeks, I had to set our friend free and close that book on this unsettling chapter, for good. In one decisive moment, I reported the page and all violating posts, impersonating Rachel's identity. Almost instantly, the entire account vanished, blinking offline. Silently, no more glimpses into what could have been, or bittersweet tags keeping her spirit engaged with past joys. Just an empty white screen. I typed Rachel's name, the final digital death duplicating the real one. She endured too young. One tragic midnight hour. I sat numbly staring into nothingness as I said one last goodbye. The clicking key striking her profile from existence mirrored the brittle reminiscence of Rachel's sudden physical end, that vital light within her snuffed out instantly by reckless circumstance beyond her control. Now even her enduring electronic echo sounds forever led to rest by a few forceful clicks. I hope deleting that frozen digital shrine would finally allow everyone's lingering grief to naturally over time no more suspended animation of halting us and off haunting, with a teen girl now perpetually 18 We have to walk forward, carrying Rachel's joyful spirit with us, while letting go this eerie counterfeit tethering us to the past wherever her vibrant soul traveled. After leaving that mangled car, I prayed she understood why I said the Facebook version free. Goodbye, Rach. I'll miss you. I'm a woman. This all happened a few years ago when I was in college. I was visiting my mother and younger brothers for the summer, in the city they had recently moved to. One day, I opened up Facebook to see that I'd received several notifications. Some guy I didn't know had liked every single one of my cover photos, and sent me a friend request. He had made no other attempt to contact me, and I assumed he only liked me on cover photos because they were the only part of my profile that were accessible to people I wasn't friends with. I didn't think much of it in my late teens and early 20s. I was pretty used to random men I didn't know trying to contact me on Facebook. I got distracted by other things on my feed, and didn't get around to removing the friend request. About a week later, I was out to a bar downtown with my then boyfriend, and two of my roommates from the town where I went to school, who was visiting for a few days to see some sights. After a couple of hours of hanging out, I decided I wanted to go home, so I could get a good night's sleep before work the next day. My boyfriend decided to stick around and play pool with my roommates for a while. I didn't mind because the subway's just a short walk away from me, so I headed off alone. As I stood at the intersection, a man approached the curb I was standing on, also waiting for the light to change, so he could cross the street. After a moment, he turned to me and asked for directions to a specific subway station I wasn't familiar with. I was new to the city and didn't know the subway map very well, so I couldn't help, and told him that. At that point, the light changed and we started across the street. He continued talking to me and eventually said, "Hey, is your name Leela by any chance?" "Leela Muhammad?" I foolishly replied. "Yes, do I know you?" He said. "No, but I came across you Facebook recently. I just saw you and though, wow, what a beautiful girl." Here, a wave of apprehension washed over his face, like he knew what he was saying could be construed, but he pressed on. "I think I sent you a friend request, actually. I'm not a creep, I promise." At this point, we had reached the other side of the road, and I stopped walking because I don't want him to follow me. He continued, "I just think you're really beautiful, and when I saw your profile, I wanted the chance to get to know you better. I swear I'm not a creep. You could accept my friend request so we can talk some more. I promise I'm not a creep. Don't block me, okay?" I was extremely taken back and didn't know what to say. All I could think was I had to get away from him as quickly as possible, so I just said, "Oh, wow, yeah, okay. You seem really friendly." He kept repeating that he wanted me to accept his friend request when I got home and not block him. He insisted that he wasn't a creep several more times and begged me just to give him a chance to prove it. In my desire to leave this interaction as quickly as I could, I told him I didn't think he was a creep and would friend him back as soon as I could get the chance. At the end of the encounter, he wished me a pleasant evening and went back the way we just came from, making it very clear that he'd only approached the intersection in the first place to make this appeal to me. I spent the subway ride home replaying these events in my head over and over again, wondering how he found me at this intersection. Did he just happen to be there? What are the odds of that? When I got home, I immediately blocked him and never saw him again, but the experience has stayed with me to this day. Thank you all for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed those stories, and I would love hearing from you guys, so if you guys want to leave a comment, leave a story that you want me to narrate, I would love to hear from you. With that said, as always, stay